Hey everyone, it's your girl Naya. Welcome to another edition of Break the Code. Now, this is going to be really short and quick, okay? If you watched a video I just posted somewhere, the link is there. I posted that. It was a piece by a friend of mine who is a TV anchor for CRTV, that stands for Cameroon Radio and Television. Um, she did a piece on domestic violence. Now, the story behind this is that a teacher was killed in Cameroon by her husband. He beat her ruthlessly, mercilessly. She died. Okay? And what was the argument over? The fact that she was not where he thought she should be. Where was she? In the hospital taking care of their baby. Or she had left the hospital to come home to make food for their baby who was in the hospital. And he thought that she needed to be in the hospital with the child. Okay? So that's how she lost her life. Now, for those of us who are sort of familiar with domestic violence, we know that this type of violence, it didn't start on that day that this incident happened. And this teacher, this educator, this woman who was shaping the future of Cameroon, um, was killed. It didn't start that day. Okay. Now, I'm doing this because someone asked me, make it make sense. All right. So let me go exactly to where this is coming from. One thing that is really annoying and heart-wrenching is the fact that there is no policy in Cameroon against domestic violence. It's not even in the penal code. It's not part of the legal infrastructure. So if you are part of that system in Cameroon, can we stand up for this? Can we not lose any more lives to senseless violence because of patriarchy? All right. Now, I know that people are going to say domestic violence does not only happen by men, it's not only perpetrated by men to women. I know that. Okay. And I think most of us know that. I have met people, men, who have experienced domestic violence. And no matter the perpetrator of the violence, it is heart-wrenching. It affects not only the person, but their future relationships, their children, and how they approach the world if they are given the chance to live. I've met a gentleman who has been stabbed with a knife by a woman. All right. So, yes, I know it goes both ways, but the reality is most victims of domestic violence are women. I don't know the stats off the top of my head, but there's no comparison. Okay. Now, if you watch that report, I think in the end, I said something about Samson's strength, and he was trying to understand where that was coming from. So I'm going to read the question my friend asked me, which, brought about this discussion. And when she asked me to record, this is what she asked me. She said, I'm doing a report on violence against women. Okay? A man beats his wife every day until she dies. My angle is, why would women rather die in silence? Are they afraid of culture, religion, or is it because of love? All right. So that was the question. So I was taking on the religion angle from my experience in religious circles. I remember being at a church and one of the pastors said, and this has stuck with me for over 25 years. She said, if your husband beats you pray for Samson's strength so you can get up out of there and you can beat him back. Because if a man feels the strength of Samson in a woman, he'll never touch you again. That was her advice to the women in a women's meeting in the church. The question of, does religion help foster spaces where domestic violence continues to persist, remains? And I'm going to say an emphatic yes, especially in circles where it's, you know, there's no space for you to use your own thinking, just what the Bible says. But the Bible does not speak about things like this. All right. What if a woman is smacked upside her head, falls down, hits her head on a brick, and she's dead? There's no Samson strength prayer that's going to wake her up to fight him back. She's gone. So I think it's time that we begin to challenge the systems, challenge culture, challenge religion, and even challenge love. The very same Bible that people talk about says the heart above all things is extremely deceptive, right? Yes, I'm not saying don't move with the heart, but we move with our hearts and we move with our heads. And sometimes, sis, when that partner of yours lays a hand on you, that man lays a hand on you, and you look at it one time, maybe it's time to have a plan to get out of there. If they do not want to get help, if they do not acknowledge that that was not right, if they do not see the wrong in their actions, then you need to do something. Do it for yourself, do it for your life, do it for your children, do it for your generations, because you deserve to live. You deserve to live a life of joy and not live in fear. You deserve happiness. I just want to lend my heart out to victims of domestic violence, people who have lived under this cloud where they feel like there's no way out. My heart goes out to you. I pray that you find a space where you always feel safe. If it's not in your home, that you find a space outside of your home where you know you can always go to and feel safe. And I think it's time that we challenge the narrative that we have around the things that we say, which can perpetuate some of these atrocities in our homes, by saying, you know, hey, I remember attending a wedding or a couple weddings in Kenya, and when you're getting married as the woman, they bring your bed from your homestead to the wedding. And at the wedding, they're like, this is your bed. Okay, this is your bed. So you don't have a place back in our home because now your bed is in your husband's house. Well, what does that say to her? If she has a problem, she's not coming back to you. That is culture, right? Culture came about for a reason. Culture is built, and if you watch the episode, I think one of my episodes of Break the Code with Dr. Monique Quachu, she explains how culture is derived. It is derived out of a need, but culture can evolve. So let's revisit these things for today, for this time, and for our society now. Once again, thank you for this moment. I just had to get this off my chest. It is never okay. It is never okay. It is never okay to feel that you have the power to lay your hand on somebody else, and that, whew, they don't have a right to say anything to anybody else. These are some of the things. I'm going to read one more message that came, okay? So again, the video, had nothing to do with biology of the children, marriage, or whatever. This was a message I received. It says, but did that announce the biological father of all their children? There are invisible elephants that exist in some of these marriages that are only whispered in saloons and beer parlors. My grandfather always told me, don't be in a hurry to judge or defend an adulterous woman. Maybe her crime is a solution or condemnation somewhere. Okay, I don't really understand the last part of it, but make it make sense. Fam, there was nothing in this that I've read so far that hinted to paternity or maternity of the children. Regardless, even if he was not the father of the children, there is no justification for violence. We're adults. Have a conversation. Say you have to leave, but don't put your hand on somebody else's child. Because as a father, a mother, guess what? That somebody's going to be doing that to your child in the future. How are you going to respond to that? Invisible elephants or not, there is no justification. No justification. Okay? So this is not really, I just wanted to bring this to the table because it makes it seem that some acts are justifiable. No, it is never justifiable. It's never defendable. I don't care what it is. And that's my opinion on this edition of Break the Code. I just needed to come back and say my piece one more time because it's just never okay. And the Cameroon legal system needs to be revisited. It needs to be, I don't know what you do in the judicial system to bring in new laws, but it needs to be revisited. It needs to be revamped for today and for the future. So thank you again for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.